Good morning. We're back with some Naya, really red-white splashing destructive revelry burn in Modern. Um, Not too much to go over on the list. Something very similar to what I've played throughout the channel. Um, just a small splash for destructive revelry, so you have the one stomping ground. Down to 2 sacred foundries in this build to facilitate having enough fetch lands. Main deck's entirely red-white. You have the 12 creatures, 28 burn spells, not a whole lot more to it. 4 Stirring Blaze in the main's pretty standard, 4 Skull Crack. Sideboard, 4 Path to Exile for big creature decks, things like Hollow One, Death Shadow, Jun, couple Grafdigger's Cages as kind of graveyard hate against things like Hollow One and Dredge, also pretty decent against Storm, Grim Lavamancer and Surging Blood against smaller creature decks, Inquisitive Firetaft against control in situations where you're bringing out some of your creatures and you need more burn spells, and then Destructive Revelry for things like Affinity and anything that has a lot of them, and anything you might feel has Leyline of Sanctity in the deck. So, without further ado, not a whole lot to explain more. It's burn. Yeah, yeah. Starting to get tired now, so this league might be a little less me being interesting and a little bit more trying to concentrate on what's going on. Although it is burn, so there's not a ton of concentration needed, and it'll be over in about an hour or so. So, as long as we don't have opponents that take forever. It's one of the kind of nice things about burn is just kind of a fairly easy deck to manage. So. Guess I'd like to play first. That's where you want to be in Modern. This is a hand. So 1 lander, we're on the play. I think I'm inclined to mulligan. I don't like keeping too many 1-landers. This hand's a little bit better. Sure, we'll leave that on top. Alright, Brushland probably means we're up against Eldrazi. I'm noticing some of the sound effects aren't on. Wonder what's going on there. Nothing else what it could be. But I'm thinking ban Eldrazi from Brushland only. Yep. Confirmed. Ban Eldrazi. The fact that they have Eldrazi Temple on 1 does mean this game could get a little ugly. Let's see what the reveal is here. Reality Smasher. So now I have to be careful. I think for the mana efficiency's sake, I've got to Go ahead and suspend this Rift Bolt. Just some consideration to holding on to the fetch land Pure Searing Blaze against something like a Displacer or something. Oh dear. Turn to Thought Knot. Yep. So just gotta keep pushing here. Noble Hierarch is kind of whatever here. Let's gotta decide how they want to block. They don't block at all. Alright, well, I mean, giving me a chance to push damage, I'm going to. I don't know if I really like that choice from our opponent there. I mean, I like it in the sense of they don't want to give us an extra card off of Thought Knot, but at the same time, it leaves them dead to a whole lot more. I guess, I mean, they could have blocked Goblin Guide with known information. Like, I could only deal 3 damage because Searing Blaze wasn't doing anything. Alright, so here's going to come down a Reality Smasher. Yep. So, and this is probably going to be on blocking duty. So we're going to have a couple draw steps to draw some lands. So suspend, Rough Bolt, pass. No, even if they have another Reality Smasher, we're not dead here. So, opponent had turn 2 Thought Knot on the draw, and it's just not good enough unless they have another Thought Knot and we brick on lands here. Or not brick on lands, brick on spells. There's the brush land we knew about that they can't even really afford to use. So the Noble Hierarch in their hands kind of dead. Alright, I'll draw the Displacer, question mark. Alright, so I was taking a calculated risk here. Get the Searing Blaze. Alright. So now we have to draw a burn spell here. And we're dead on board. So yeah, because we didn't draw a spell, we're dead on board. So 9, 12, maybe they won't go for it, but they know we don't have it because we didn't kill them, so they're just going to go for it and kill us. So they can just displace, kill us on board. Now they can really displace on board. Or they can just cast Drowner of Hope and tap both of our guys down. That works too. Definitely want the Path to Exiles in this matchup. Some consideration for Revelry if they have Worship, but otherwise Revelry is a pretty dead card, so I don't think we want to go that route. And board out a couple of Skullcracks. They might bring in things like Blessed Alliance or Timely Reinforcements, and then the last cuts. Last cuts are either some consideration between Eidolon, Lava Spike, and Boros Charm. I'm thinking a couple copies of Lava Spike for this particular go-round. If I knew they weren't bringing in life gain, I would be boarding out the Skullcracks because they're just worse cards overall. But there's a decent chance they have some type of life gain in their sideboard. Mulligan. Guess we're going to 5. About as good a 5 as we're going to get. Especially against an Eldrazi opponent that kept 7. Usually not a good sign. On the draw, I'm more inclined to take it out. On the play, there's some chance that it dings them a little bit, because they do have things like Path. They do have things like a lot of their setup creatures like Eidolon, not Eidolon, things like Displacer, things like that kind of stuff. Because like going one into two is fine. But yeah, Eidolon's not its best in this matchup, but it is a little bit better than it is against something like Eldrazi Tron. See what they fetch here. Breeding Pool. I'm just gonna get Blessed Alliance here. Double Path is not exactly our friend. Blessed Alliance me, bro. Nope, just Path Exile. Yeah, sure. So, I'm guessing the reason they kept this hand was something like Worship. This is an excessively slow Eldrazi hand. Sure. Thought Not resolves. So if we wouldn't have mulliganed to 5, there's a good chance we could have beaten a draw this pedestrian. But sometimes that's just the burn stuff. This does accelerate them. But, I mean, if they have double Reality Smasher, we're not beating that anyway, so. Past our opponent here. Just over the spikes. Yeah, we'll be taking out, if we get to a third game, we'll be taking out Eidolon on the draw. So they would have had Reality Smasher mana anyway. Another not Thunk. It's not a nice opponent. So, do I just get another Sacred Foundry or just basic Mountain? Opponent is taking forever between game actions. You will get nothing. Don't worry, we drew a land. Oh, man. To be brutally honest, I haven't had much success with Burn of late, simply because of draws like this. Just like Mulligans to Oblivion, or, yeah, drawing lands instead of spells. So, part of the reason I haven't been playing Burn too terribly much lately. One of the things about relying on one of the more consistent but also variable decks in the format, in terms of you have no way of fixing your draws. So, I think Burn would like it. I don't think anybody else would enjoy it, though. I think it would enable Blue-Red Delver and Burn to be a little bit more effective, but I don't know that Wizards really wants Burn to be more effective. Certainly would be funny as heck in the human matchup. Blessed Alliance to put the game away. Yep. The Red Saga is... I don't think we can possibly win this race. Eat. So if our opponent adds anything more to the table, we're dead. I don't think the Red Saga is very good in Burn in general. Like, there might be some fringe matchups like Control you'd want it, but I don't know. Colorless. Yeah, this is a Reality Smasher. That's not nothing. I think if it were like that, it wouldn't be played. If it was Sorcery Speed, 1 damage per non-basic, I don't think it would be played. Yeah, but it takes you two turns to get those cards. See, Boros Charm here would have been lethal without that Blessed Alliance, but sometimes they have the life gain spell. So, not much to say about that other than our opponent had their Nut draw in game 1, turn 2 Thought Knot, and we just mulliganed to 5 and died to what would be a below average Eldrazi draw. So, I think I think an instant at 3 would be fine. I just don't think Wizards is ever going to print another card like that again. So, see, this hand is perfectly reasonable, but also has the drawback of if we draw one more land, it's terrible. So, like, this is one of those hands against most decks that the burn player wants, but could also flood out and die very easily. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. I see Spire Bluff Canal. I'm thinking Storm. But no, we're up against Niv Magus combo. Huh. Huh, huh, huh. So they can get a really large Niv Magus here, but the cost on their life total is going to be obscene. So do this before attacking. So if they want to save it, they're going to have to use immunogenic growth, which is going to cost them a lot of. All right. Niv Magus combo. So we wish you a Merry Christmas. No, that's not what I was gonna say. So Niv Magus combo is usually backed up by Kiln Fiend and possibly something like Thing in the Ice. So gonna bring these in. Going to board out the Skull Cracks. Pretty easy switch here. They could have something like either Dragon's Claw or Sun Droplet on the board, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that as far as bringing in something like Destructive Revelry in Game 3. But even if the opponent had mutagenic growth there, they were in a very bad spot because they were going to be taking 4 damage just to save their Niv Magus. Now, if this were on the play, I would not keep this hand because of one lander. Because it's on the draw, I'm very tempted to. So, I guess we will see. Scries to the bottom. This is one of those, do I even want to play my lane? Like, seems dumb, but the question is, from a mathematical standpoint, do you even want to play your Goblin Guide on one? Just to avoid not getting your second land drop? But I think that's getting too cute. Okay, opponent's got mutagenic growth. Good to know. Yep, Killing Fiend. So gonna want to do this on their turn. That way, if they want to save it, they gotta use the Mutagenic Growth on their turn. So they only have 2 spells. They're unlikely to be able to kill us from this point, so... That said, this Goblin Guy's on blocking duty. Don't want to risk dying. It's like something... Alright, that's a card. Is there a chance we're dead here? Let's get their creature off the board. No, I'm not paying 2 mana for a spell that no longer means anything. See what your next card is. It's a Harbinger. It's good information to know about. Yep, Harbinger is going to be able to go get a Magus, most likely? Yeah. Seven, 9, not quite dead. Gonna attack here, get a little more info. Yep, that's an Magus that we know about. No blocks. Bold. Not smart, but bold. This the old concession Eidolon? Yep. Match like that, you gotta make sure not to die, and then you pretty much win. Because they only have 8 to 12 creatures that are actually relevant. Killing Fiend, Magus Elemental, and sometimes Thing in the Ice, depending on how they want to build their deck. So, how's everyone doing this morning? Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. Playing a little bit of Burn this morning. Vast departure from our Blue-White X Control excursions in Standard. We're also playing a little bit of Humans throughout the smattering throughout. Our next thing, I think, is a Red-White Humans list that's kind of a spring off point of our Mono-White Humans list with like a couple little tweaks. Very similar to the red splash white Humans list that was in Standard a couple of years ago. List is splashing for Possibly things like Lightning Bolt, the Goblin that gives everything haste on Surge. I can't remember its name off the top of my head. I guess I'd like to play first. We'll keep it, but this hand needs a little bit of help with no creatures, so. Hi, opponent. Let you know what we're doing right away. Island go. Alright. There's an off chance whatever they're playing they could have here in response we crack our fetch. Gotta make sure we time this crap correctly. Go get another Sacred Foundry in case they have Spreading Seas. The little things you gotta play around with burn. Probably some style of Jeskai list. Could be Jeskai, could be Storm. Most likely Jeskai from that fetch land combination. Guess it theoretically could still be Storm. Could be fetch land Storm. Unlikely, but could be. Could still be Storm. Well, I mean... Alright, Mountain was a good draw. Now we can start double spelling. For some reason the storm bells are like going off here unless they fetch a Sacred Foundry or something here. Okay, nope. It's just blue-red through the breach. Bing! Alright. So, blue-red Through the breach. Definitely want these firecrafts. And... So... Blue-red breach. They could have Blood Moon in their deck. They could have Dragon's Claw. They could have, what other cards do we need to consider here? So we know they probably have Snapcasters, Vendilion Clicks, and Through the Breaches as their way to win the game. The question becomes, which one of the dead cards do we want to, like... Do we want to bring in Revelries and leave in, or do we want to leave in 2 Searing Blazes? Is what this basically comes down to. I'm inclined to take out 2 Blazes and leave a couple of Blazes in. Because they could be just on counterspells against us. They may not even have Dragon's Claw. So, it's kind of a hedge. Do I want to leave in Searing Blaze as a dead card or Destructive Revelry as a potentially dead card? This hand's fine. Decent chance the Swift Spear doesn't live on 1, so... But with a hand like that, they'd have to fetch Shock to kill it, so, I mean, I think I'm perfectly fine with that exchange. Gonna fetch Shock. Nope. Alright, so the Swift Spear will get in for at least 1 damage. There's a decent chance it just dies to a bolt next turn. Alright, that's one of the cards we wanted to see. Still, if I were my opponent, this Swift Spear should be dead, like, right now. Because if this Prowess trigger resolves, this is your last chance as... Okay. The question is do I resolve Lightning Bolt while I can, or suspend Rift Bolt? I think I need to get in the damage while I can here. Anybody else just see that brief flash of Thought Not Seer trigger on the screen? We're opponent to 12 here. Okay. So we're running out of time and resources. They might have the breach combo in hand. Alright. So one thing about the breach combo version of this deck is they have, you know, just that inevitability of the combo itself. Am I dead? Let them draw and discard first. Alright, now we resolve Boros Charm. Alright, Lightning Bolt's an interesting one. See if they let Bolt resolve. Probably not. Alright, so Bolt means you're dead. Cool. Because this Exquisite Fire Draft can't be countered. Alright, 2-1 so far. So with that, I'm going to take a brief break to go get a drink of water. Just want to thank everyone for hanging out this morning. Thanks everyone for helping the channel grow. Hope you're enjoying the content. If you like what you're seeing, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you like what you're seeing on the video, please hit that like button. Help us grow the channel in both ways. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back here in 1 moment. Alright, sorry about that. Was eating, didn't really want to eat in your guys' ear. So, the deck we're probably up against, there's a couple different things this could have been. Teleria West on 1 could have been Ad Nauseam, could have been a couple other different decks. But this is the Mono Blue Splash Red Prison deck. So, So next turn our opponent could have the card that allows their stuff to remain, or so they can't be targeted. So I think that let's go ahead and suspend the Rift Bolt here. Actually, no, I should probably just cast Lightning Bolt. Put our opponent to 4, so alrighty. So need to find this deck pretty quickly, but I know we want the Destructive Revelries. Beyond that, I don't know if there's any actual cards that we want. Get these Searing Blazes out of our deck, as many as we can. I guess there's some consideration for Lavamancer here over the last Searing Blaze. Question is, do we want the second Lavamancer? Probably not. What would we even cut it for? Just leave the second Lavamancer on the board. Because they're bringing in stuff like Sun Droplet. They also have the 4-mana artifact that allows you to get hexproof. So there's a lot of things they have going on that are fairly decent in this matchup. It's just a matter of trying to put enough pressure on them that they can't whir or just play the card. So that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, the sand's fine. Got Destructive Revelry, got our mana set up. It might have Bolt too, but that's kind of whatever here. Yep, they got Engineer Explosive, so they're going to go probably E on 1 next turn. They might go Engineer Explosives on one, or they might wait until they can play and pop it in the same turn. Yeah, that's fine. So, am I supposed to... I'm just supposed to wait on this Swift Spear. Get an island out of the deal. Suspend. Rift Bolt. Let's go and get a basic mountain here so they don't know that Destructive Revelry is coming. Should we get to that point? Okay. Alright. Okay, so that enables them to be able to pop the get an expedition map, that's fine. Yep. And take this opportunity to Boros Charm you. Still no reason to act. Yep. Let's get in here. Pass. Now the priority is on you to act, otherwise you're just dead. 1, 2. So I guess they could theoretically have Metallic Rebuke here, but I don't know if that's a card I'm too worried about. Alright, they don't. So 3-1 against 3 blue-red decks, ironically. this final match underway, and that'll definitely be it for the morning. I'm going to be heading back to bed for a little while and getting up and watching the Pro Tour, seeing how that shakes out. I want to thank everyone for hanging out this morning. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing here on the channel. If you like what you're seeing, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Helps to grow the channel, helps you know when I get into live. I've been doing more live streaming of late to try to help grow the channel and to interact with people. If you like what you're seeing in this particular video, please consider hitting that like button. Helps to helps me let you know what you like, what's going on. If you don't like what's going on, please feel free to hit that dislike button. And then comment here in chat as to what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, what I can do to improve the channel. I play a lot of standard modern content here for those of you that are new to the channel. Lately, we've been playing a lot of Blue-White X Control and Standard, getting ready for Grand Prix Pittsburgh. We've been playing a bunch of users' deck lists, or a bunch of viewers' deck lists. I have no problem, playing a couple matches with some people's deck lists, especially in Standard and Modern. I might consider Pauper in time, but not a format I have a lot of working knowledge of. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this league, we've been on the play, like, every match. So, a lot easier to win your matches when you're on the play every match. So, let's lead on this Swift Spear. Hit our opponent for a little bit here. So, Swamp Go. Doesn't tell me a whole lot. Could be Pox, could be... I guess if it would be Pox, they would just, Yep. Kind of figured that was going to happen, but then... There's one less removal spell for this guy. So... Huh. Death Shadow? It's a very weird opening for... This might be... Yeah, this looks like it's, either Sultai or 4-color Death Shadow, question mark? Especially fetching the breeding pool. Taking some damage here. Just go ahead and pass here. This is an interesting matchup. So nobody wants to do anything. Hmm. Opponent discards a Thoughtseize. Oh, there's a shocker, right? So... Hmm. Boros Charm, however, changes the math on the equation. Three damage spells weren't worth it, but that game was. Alright. So we can presume they're probably 4-color Death Shadow, given the presence of their, what they had going on there. So, get these Searing Blazes out of here. And on the draw... This is where things get a little weird. So, opponent's going to have both Stubborn Denial and Collective Brutality in their deck. So I'm inclined, and they have a lot of creature removal, so I'm inclined to cut some amount of our creatures. I'm guessing it's supposed to be a couple Goblin Guides. Because the damage they can do on the draw is extremely minimal, given the fact that opponent has Tarmogoyfs and the opponent also has a boatload of removal spells. So, and the fact that they're going to do a fair amount of damage to themselves with Street Wraiths and Fetch Shock and a base that they really can't get around. So, awkward hand. I think we keep it because we're on the draw, and this is an attrition matchup more than anything. So, keep it, but this hand could certainly punish us. Or we could just draw the perfect land and be the lucky cheese burn player and reveals Polluted Delta. Yep, here comes the fetch for Swamp. Fatal Push. Nope. That's Shock. Okay, no. Okay. Must be a Tarmogoyf coming down. Yep. It's either a Tarmogoyf or this is a Collective Brutality. Yep, this is brutality. Nothing we can do about it. Excuse me. They took Boros Charm. That's interesting. I would think you would want to take Path to Exile there. I know... I guess they could have Collective Brutality here. It's possible they're just Sultai? Put you to 13, which means you can deploy Death Shadow next turn. Yeah, makes me think they're just Sultai. We're floating out a little bit, which is unfortunate. But as long as our opponent's not putting pressure on us, I don't know that it really matters. They're gonna force us to respond with Skullcrack here. Which means they're gonna get the Path to Exile to set up their Death Shadow probably in hand. Wowzers. Okay. So, this is a very bizarre game. We'll play the Swift Spear, but there's no way this guy's getting any in for any damage. Yep. So my opponent's hand's either like Street Race or all removal spells, maybe a Stubborn Denial. Okay, so they are 4-color. I have nothing in hand, friend, or you'd be dead. Alright. Very, very bizarre game. Um, so our opponent discarded that Traverse the Uvenwald, and I almost think that was a mistake. Um, Granted, they only had 3 card types in graveyard even at the end there, so I don't know that it really mattered. At least, yeah, it's 3 card types. Alright, so thoughts on Burn. Uh, Burn is Burn. Whenever you draw well, you're on the play, it does exceptionally well. Whenever you're on the draw a lot, or you flood out, or you only get a 1-lander or a 5-lander, or you play against humans. So I've been doing a lot of playing against humans in competitive leagues, and as I've noticed throughout, that humans is probably unfavorable for Burn. So seeing a high end of humans in the format right now, Burn may not be in the best place that it's been in a while. Overall, I think Burn's still a very solid tier 1, tier 1.5 deck. But do understand that you're going to have some rough matchups against humans on their good draws and against Hollow 1 with their really good draws. I think we're slightly favored against Hollow 1, slightly to moderately a dog against the current builds of humans. So, because I've even tried versions with like Lava Mancers in the main and that kind of stuff, and even that still feels like humans is a miserable-ish matchup the last like couple times I played against it. So, just want to thank everyone for tuning in this morning. Glad to be hanging out with you guys. Hope everybody has a good rest of their Sunday or Monday, wherever you are in the world. Pro Tour will be wrapping up this morning, so don't forget to watch the top 8 of the Pro Tour. We'll probably be back this evening with some type of stream. I'm not sure what. I might attempt to stream an MTG Arena draft. The video quality on the Arena is a little bit sketchy for my computer, so I don't know how well that would go. Or we might go back to working on some Modern Humans. We'll see. But I will definitely be back, at least for some amount of time this evening. But thank everyone for hanging out this morning. It's been a pleasure. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you're seeing this later in the video or later on YouTube, please consider subscribing. And if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please feel free to comment. If you have any deck lists you want me to try out that's in relation to anything we're doing or anything modern or standard related, please feel free to send them in. I'm more than willing to give someone's deck a few matches to try out. So, thanks. This has been Dust for Dusted on Gaming. Glad to hang out with everybody this morning.